Hey.
That's called feedback, Dan. Hey.
We welcome all of you to the announcement for the 2013 WCWP Hall of Fame. And we are honored to announce the class today. The Alumni Board, Hall of Fame Board, selected this class through the process, and we are very delighted with our selections. And the Hall of Fame ceremony will take place on April 20th, Saturday, April 20th, at the Tillis Atrium over there at 1 p.m. And we hope to see you all there. And right now, I'd like to introduce Dr. Forrestal to say a few words. Dr. Forrestal.
Thank you, Pete, and folks, thanks for being here today. Another beautiful day in paradise. It's all coming together real nicely. A chance to spend some time with some great alums. We won our game today, and the weather's perfect, so it doesn't get much better. I want to congratulate the new inductees. We look forward to the event in April. But most of all, I just really want to support and reinforce the idea of how important it is for you folks to keep showing up. And it's nice to look and see a great range of people here, people who have known us for a long time, people who have known us for not so long, and some new faces as well. It really does matter that you show up. And as Woody Allen said, that's whatever, 85% of the game is showing up. The other 15% is participating, so we don't want you to forget about that important 15% either. But I really welcome you here, and I'm glad you have come back to share the time with us. And WCWP is a great, long-standing, and very important part of this campus. And I really enjoy spending the time with you, and thank you for being here.
Thank you very much. And right now, I'd like to announce the class of the 2013 WCWP Hall of Fame. Start off with two people behind the scenes that helped us in the early years, Steve Radoff and Harry Lowenthal. And the next two inductees, one is currently on the air right now, is Bernie Bernard. And the gentleman right in front of me who will come up and say a few words, Mr. Bill Moser.
Thank you very much. Boy, what an honor. This is fantastic. I thought I'd be the oldest person here, but I think you beat me by about 10 years. It's almost 50 years later, I'm standing here on the same steps. It's amazing. I look back at my career at WCWP, and it's so amazing how many careers were launched here, how many relationships, how many marriages, and the fact that 50 years later I'm back here hugging people that I don't know and hugging people I do know, which is a tribute to the family that WCWP represents. I think it's more than just a radio station or an internet station now. It really is a community of people that spans many, many decades. And the fact that we're here celebrating, how many years we've been on here? Is it 51 now? 51 years. I started here right out of high school. But again, it's just an amazing collection of talent and resource. And I'm so honored that people say to me, oh, you know, we had such a great time when you were running the radio station. And the only credit I ever take for this, for running the radio station, is that I created an atmosphere where bright people could learn the craft of broadcasting. So it wasn't me, it was all the talent that was inside the folks that worked here during my day and subsequent. So thank you so very, very much. I'm very honored to be selected for this honor. Thanks, folks. I'm still studying broadcasting. I bought this for a penny on eBay, and it really is amazing how far we've come. It has pictures of old television and radio studios that are, whoa. If you want to take a look at some of the pictures, it's quite amusing.
Thank you again.
there you have it. And we are honored to select these people, and we hope you can all join us on the 20th for the Hall of Fame induction ceremony in April. And thank you very much, and enjoy the afternoon. We will draw the 50-50 raffle shortly, so if you want to take part, go ahead. Thank you very much, guys.
Where am I going? Jay? Come on up, join us.
He's busy doing bookwork.
We're getting too wide for you, let us know. Yeah, the old Ford picture.
Please shoot above the stomach.
Let them go and then I'll go.
Good, well clear.
Okay, now
I like that count. Nice count.
ready? 1, 2, 3. Take a safety. All right.
Any film in there?
It's all digital. Yeah. What is that, John?
Very good. Very good. Congratulations.
Any more?
No, they got in. Well, I know you did. I thought you had all that joy running that.
Spread the joy around.
Yeah.
These are your copies? I saw it and I was like, because I saw it online. I was looking at races Justice League down there. I saw the girls that were somewhere down around there.
I don't mean I wouldn't base on
There's still some stuff we could do. They did a great job.
The other thing that really is remarkable is the rebranding.
Not that short.
Ladies and gentlemen, have your attention. Hey. Hello. Is this mic on? Hello. Hey guys. Hello. All right, we got one more announcement. I would like to introduce one of the Hall of Famers coming up in 2013, Bernie Bernard.
All right. Yeah, I got like 5 minutes left on my cut this on here. Thank you so much. Does this mean I'm old?
Yeah.
Get into the Hall of Fame? Yeah, okay,
Is that the
thank
only
you.
way you get inducted? You got to be old?
I think so. But thank you guys. This place is my home. Always has been. If it weren't for this place, I wouldn't be doing what I'm doing. I wouldn't have gotten all the great jobs that I've gotten. And it's like the Hotel California. You can check out, but you can never leave.
Amen.
So I'm still here and happy to be here. And thanks. Thank you all. It's an honor. Thank you.
Thank you, Bernie.
Thank you.
Bernie.
Back to work.
Thank you, Bernie. Okay.
Raffle.
Okay.
We'll do the raffle now?
Do the raffle.
Anyone else need to take tickets for the raffle? Because if not, we will draw the raffle now. I know.
Let's count this one. That's an HD camera, right, Mike?
Yes.
I don't know. I still.
It's a low-end HD camera, though.
I love that. As heavy as it was, it was a lot more fun. I once got screened by a wide receiver. I was taking a shot on the sidelines. I was doing the 2-point stance on my knees to try to get that low shot. That kid came around. He was a high school kid. He was still pretty big. He came around. I got the shot. Boy, he took me out right after I got it.
After using a lot of the sports coverage of these GoPro cameras for $200.
Yeah.
They can hang them on a fence, and if a car crashes into them, they can just
They just throw it away. And it takes them underway.
Post have a math class that's capable of handling that number.
What are you doing? We're pulling a winner here.
He's got school tonight.
Well, he's got to know how much the winner wins. It's 50-50, so if you don't have a total, it's kind of hard to...
49, 59, 59.
579, 589.
So,
$304.50. I'm doing the math over here.
I know. Broadcasting major.
$300.
Really?
College graduates here, folks.
$300.
Bill.
Making it even 300.
Okay. All right, ladies and gentlemen, we're going to pick the winners of the raffle.
I'm sure that whoever the winner is probably isn't here.
Pete, how do we open this thing?
How am I going to get my hand in that slot?
Hold on. Pop each side.
Go ahead.
Are we going to face the camera or going to face the crowd here?
Oh, you can go down, face the crowd. Go down, face up.
Yeah, but he's in the
you can
shooting from the back.
come up here.
Just worry about doing
All right, Popsy Jack.
the judge.
I'm your banner.
All right, hold on.
I just wanted to be
All
near
right,
the
the
speaker,
money
that's all.
is $304. So, and a lot of people, some people are not here. They have phone numbers down and everything, so it's open to a lot of people.
You read it.
Here we go.
Take it, Bill.
Get rid of the red
I did.
That's the preliminary.
All right, the number
The number is
566-900. 566-900. Right back there, Mike. Okay. There we go. We have a winner. Congratulations.
Bill, excellent.
I heard you were going to be here.
Yeah, I heard
Thank you,
you were
everyone.
too. I was trying to get here from my sister's house in Lake Grove.
Excellent.
Through a little traffic. How you doing?
I thought we had a deal.
I had my ticket taped to the bottom of the box.
Yeah, 304.
I haven't seen Harry. I haven't seen Harry in longer than I've seen Jeff. Moser too. I saw Moser. Yeah, I saw him when he came in. First thing he did was tap him and give me a hug. Got myself for him. Bless you.
This reminds me of Kevin Jeffries, who used to play this.
I was thinking of Kevin
Rest
this
in
morning.
peace, Kevin.
I was very, very much thinking of him today. Absolutely. Especially when I went past the hardware store and by his house. Definitely thinking of him.
So when Dr. Forrestal comes in, we'll...
Stand up and salute.
No, probably best to clear out a little bit so we can talk.
Play a 5-star salute. I spoke to Lester Chambers actually online about 2 weeks ago. Oh, jeez. He's involved with this huge lawsuit. He got a copy for lack of royalties against Columbia Records.
Oh, I know.
He hasn't got paid a penny. He's 68 years old. He's got like a whole bunch of things wrong with him that he could use the money for. And Columbia hasn't paid him a penny or any of the Chambers brothers since that. Right after the last royalty payment was right after about 6 months after that record came out. It can't be. It just can't be. Something happened.
Well, I know this thing's it's reached its limits because this morning I put on a radio and a guy was doing a show about pro wrestling. And I figured when Homecoming has expanded to the point where a guy does an entire show about pro wrestling, I said, well, I guess we've covered everything. We've covered it all.
Oh, sorry. It's like, got a bunch of people in here. So you know about that, because that was last week.
And I checked the frequency. I made sure I was. This is 88.1. Really? Okay.
I'm trying to get this thing up here. Sam uses.
I'm not against pro wrestling.
I'm doing that.
Actually,
I'm doing
I
that.
think it's fun, but I couldn't believe this entire show is about pro wrestling. Wow. Right. That's different.
Things have changed.
Yeah, I guess they have.
was better back in the
Ellen
day.
sells her outside at all?
I didn't see him out there,
No,
no.
they have not seen him. Right.
Did you get your bracelet?
I remember sitting in the studio with Freddie Godelli, who did the Super Bowl last year, doing
Right.
sports chat.
Right.
With Dan Reagan and Freddie Godelli and Cosmo Leone.
Right.
And I was the odd one out because I was the fourth guy in. And it was just so much fun just sitting. Most of the time I was like on the edge, because they were guys, deep diehard sports fans. But I'd throw in an occasional, Von Mott or something. It was really fun. But I was just thinking of that the other day when I saw Freddie. When I saw Freddie last year on the Super Bowl, I was like, God, I went to college with that guy.
Yeah.
As a matter of fact, when I was living out in California about 4 years ago, Freddie was in town to do the Jets-Raiders game. And we got back in touch online, and he got me tickets to the game in the middle of the black hole. And here I am in the middle of the black hole in Oakland Coliseum, wearing a Jets jersey. And my girlfriend is going bananas.
That's a dangerous place, yeah.
Right. We
It's a
left.
dangerous town.
Yeah, you voted, that's right.
We lived about
Did you
45 minutes from the Coliseum. Yeah, out the bay, further out the bay. Yeah.
But anyhow.
Beautiful.
But you know.
What area exactly?
We lived in town called Oakley, Pittsburgh, Oakley, out in the Delta,
yeah.
in the San Joaquin River Delta.
I know where that area is.
Really pretty.
I'll see you soon.
I have family in San Francisco, so
Do
I've
you?
spent some time out there. Yeah, my aunt, my first cousin, they live right downtown. Yeah.
Small world.
88.1 FM and WCWP.org. A few tunes from when I was a freshman. Okay, do I want to admit it was 1968? Old, she's old. The fall of 1968. And whenever I hear these songs, we heard Love, Alone Again, or Arthur Brown and Fire, and the Chambers Brothers, and Time Has Come Today, especially the Chambers Brothers and Arthur Brown, I think of our dearly departed alum Kevin Jeffries. Always loved to be here at homecoming, and it's a little bit sadder without him. So we remember Kevin fondly here on WCWP because he was one of the people who helped put this place together and sort of give it a little status. He was always, you never knew what Kevin was going to do on the air, but it was always fun. It was always entertaining, and we love him and we miss him a lot. Got a few people here. My former student, Joe Connolly, who graduated last year, so you are officially an alumnus. Yes. Congratulations. They're going to start asking for money. We have Jeff Kroll, who was here in the 70s, right? Early 70s, right? Mike Chimeri, you were here 2000...
99 to 2004.
99 to 2004. And we have Mike Schanzer, a.k.a. Mike Hendricks, who's going to be on after me at 7 o'clock. And you were here 80s, Mike?
80 to 84.
Oh, okay. Great. Glad to have everybody here. There's a big barbecue going on out front, and we have a lot of different generations of WCWP. That is great. Looking out there and seeing all the people from all the different decades here, and of course we're celebrating our 51st birthday.
That's
here
scary.
on WCWS.
That's so scary.
It's really scary. But it's good. It's good that the place has certainly been here for 51 years. A lot of radio stations don't last for 51 years. And we're just so happy to be part of this and to join in the festivities. And along with all the older stuff, just to show we're keeping up with things too here. We're not totally in the past. We're not totally retro here. Playing a few new things. Donald Fagen of Steely Dan has a brand new album out. It's called Sunken Condo. I'm not sure. I want to know. But here's a great tune from it. Donald Fagen still has that incredible voice and incredible songwriting talent. Donald Fagen on WCWP.
This just came out.
Yeah. Just give me Tuesday.
Joe Conti just took Karen and Jan and Erica out on his truck.
Not great. Not great.
88.1 FM, WCWP.org, a little Steely Dan, and some new Donald Fagen. We heard from the Gaucho album, Steely Dan, Time Out of Mind, and Donald Fagen from a new album called Sunken Condo and Slinky Thing. I'm Bernie. We are celebrating homecoming weekend here on WCWP, and we have a lot of alumni. Mike, you want to say hi? This is
Sure, hello.
This is Mike Chimeri. He was here from, 99 to...
Well, my last semester was fall of '03,
Oh, okay.
and I didn't join the station until October '01.
Okay, but still one of our alumni, and here you are the one who does all the archiving. You are running around here taking all kinds of pictures.
Well, that's the way it's been lately.
Yeah, but it's great. I would love to see those. Hopefully, we'll have them posted somewhere online or on the WCWP alumni website, so we can look at all the different generations out there. So thank you so much for taking all the pictures and hanging in with us.
I just Time Out of Mind. Grover Washington Jr. did a cover of that on his 1989 album, also called Time Out of Mind. So as soon as I heard the melody out in the hallway, I knew it was Time Out of Mind.
Right. Jazzy. Steely Dan and Donald Fagen, Walter Becker always had a lot of jazzy elements to Steely Dan.
And Larry Carlton was in the band for a while.
Yeah, and then they had the Asia album where they had all the jazz musicians come in.
Right.
I mean, just incredible top-rated jazz musicians. So, they've dabbled in that field a lot, rock and jazz, and all sounds good, too. And Fagen's new album has a lot of jazz elements in it, too. That was just released this past week, Sunken Condo. Well, let's get back to the music here on WCWP.
Thank you, Bernie.
Thank you, Mike. This is a kind of a personal song for me because my life was saved by rock and roll. Here's Lou Reed on WCWP.
So yours truly, Johnny Dollar. It had over 500 episodes. It's on 12 CDs, but they're MP3 CDs.
88.1 FM and WCWP.org. That's Graham Parker and White Honey. Right before that, we heard from Ian Hunter and Central Park and West. He was with a band called the Oople. He never pronounced his H's. Also Long Island resident, too. And in fact, Graham Parker and Ian Hunter are on tour together. So a lot of people have been catching the show. Scott Persky, one of our alumni, was there the other night, and he said it was absolutely fantastic. So I think we have another little announcement to make here, or something to talk about. So if we can get Mike 2 here. Our president of our WCWP Alumni Association, Pete Bellotti, is here.
Hello, Benny.
Hello, Pete.
You?
What's happening?
Oh, not much, and a very exciting day for us at WCWP. Homecoming always is something to look forward to, A lot of barbecuing. You made an appearance out there a little while ago, right?
Yeah, that's what those 10-minute records are for. Or records, as we used to call them, 10-minute tracks are for. So, it was good.
And earlier today, we announced the second class to enter the WCWP Hall of Fame. And you yourself, one of the members of the class, and Steve Radoff, you talked to earlier.
Yes, I am honored.
And Harry Lowenthal, who couldn't be here tonight. He had a prior engagement, but he's going in as well.
One of my old professors.
Yes.
When I was a senior here, Harry Lowenthal.
Oh, and we're very excited. And also, finally, Bill Moser will be going in the Hall of Fame. And
our former station director.
That's right. And Bill, you want to come in?
Yeah, I think Bill should talk. Can you get on that mic? Because I don't think those two are on.
This one?
Yeah.
This one.
If Bill could get on yours, yes.
We're going to share mics, Bill.
That would be great. We have the things
I've been studying broadcasting.
I could tell by the way you're speaking.
Somebody told me I never did this before, but somebody said I should do announcing work.
Oh, okay.
So using the pseudonym of Steadily Hungwell, I am here with my book on broadcasting.
Been to the beer tent.
God! I'm wearing a suit and tie and my little pencil mustache here, and I'm practicing my diction.
Oh,
okay. And this name, Bernie. I thought you're a female.
Yes.
Why is this Bernie? How did this come about? Tell me about this, Miss Bernie Bernard.
Well, I used to hang out. This started actually in high school, where I hung out with a lot of my Jewish friends, and my real first name is Maura, and they say,
Maura.
What kind of a shiksa name is that? And so they said, you're Bernie, and it kind of stuck. And
Did it really?
I got here in the dorms, and they said, oh, no, kind of go back, Maura. What kind of a name is that? Bernard? Oh, yeah, Bernie. You're Bernie. So it kind of stuck.
50 years later, this is the first time I've understood the history of that
Yeah, that was it.
nickname.
And it was kind of, well, I figured there's William B. Williams and people like that. So it was like Bernie Bernard. Hey.
It works, but it has to be
kinda
qualified.
works.
When they see you, they think you're something other than what you are.
Okay.
But you're a
That's
one-
why I use the Ms. in front of it. So
That works. Well, I was incredibly honored to be inducted into this Hall of Fame, or nominated. And it's really cool. As I said outside in the front, this is an amazing experience, WCWP. And it goes beyond just being a radio station. It's a family. Family of people that started careers here, started dating and marriages as a result. And the fact that 50 years later, somebody like me with, a geezer hair, and you for that matter, not that you have geezer hair, I think men are geezers, right?
yeah, it could be a geezette. It could be a geezette.
But the fact that we're back here in a place that we started our careers and started our friendships, and I think that's, that the friendships and the relationships transcend a radio station.
Well, a lot of that was you, too. You were the one who's always been at the hub of our network. And, of course, we really started things when our colleague Bill Epperhart passed away in 2000, was it? I believe 2000 or 2001. And he, was a big part of the place, and a professor. And everybody kind of came together to pay tribute to him. And then it sort of worked into, well, let's keep this going. Now, there was something called Old Timers Weekend, which started with Jeff Kroll and Bruce Leonard, and Joel Feltman started years ago. But it's kind of evolved now, and we're taking over the place every homecoming weekend. And it's fun. And to see people I haven't seen in a while, you never know who's going to show up. It's a lot
Old
of fun.
Timers Weekend actually started apart from homecoming, and then it made perfect sense to bring it all together in that context.
It is. So I guess this means we're old now.
Well, I'm going to quote my brother again. You could be young once, but immature for the rest of your life.
That's true. That's true.
I'm told that's a man thing, though. Women,
Is it?
Oh,
no, I have a Peter Pan complex.
Do you
Absolutely,
really?
yes. Absolutely, no question about it. No.
It's like when I bring something home from Home Depot. She says, "Oh, you got another toy?" And I said, "No, it's not a toy. It's a tool."
That's right.
The women refer to those things as toys. We refer to them as tools. So it's just a matter of perspective.
But then when someone says you're such a tool, that's a whole different thing.
Bernie, what are you wearing, Doctor? What headphones there? Bernie is wearing...
I'm wearing Skull Candy.
Skull Candy.
Skull Candy metallic pink headphones. It was between this and the Hello Kitty headphones that the kids gave me
Whoa.
at graduation last year. I could kind of switch back and forth.
Are those
These are kinda
diamonds
cool.
or are they
What?
Chinese rock?
What,
They
these
look like
things?
diamonds in there.
Oh, they're just sparkly stuff, a little bling.
What's
in the
with these
headphones.
$200 headphones that people
I
are
have
buying?
no idea. To me, it's ridiculous. These are fine. They were like $39.99. I'm happy.
I think those Dr.
Dr. Dre?
Dre?
Oh,
Dre?
the Beats. What was it? Yeah.
So you spend $200 for a headphones because he's branded it and they're made in China and they cost maybe $5 to match.
No, not
Yeah.
me. Not me. I like these. These are kind of cool. They look nice. They're pretty. I have fun with them.
Well, actually, it's quite becoming, even though
thank
people
you.
can't see you on the radio.
Okay. Becoming what? I don't
But you know about radio people is that the voices, you imagine in radio what people look like until you see them. And it's like, well, that's not the person that I've been listening to all this while.
Yes. Sometimes I think it's better to keep the mystery than
I
to
agree.
actually meet people
Yeah.
and let them maintain the fantasy about.
When you were with the Voice of America, did you ever do TV?
A little bit. I did. I did.
Tell us about that.
Well, he's taking over the interview.
What?
No, this is sort of a mutual interview here.
Okay.
No, I did some when they needed somebody to do like a stand-up when Michael Jackson was going through a lot of his legal problems. They had me stand up in the newsroom and come and shoot me there. Or there was a studio where we had similar to a lot of the stuff that's going on now, where you had the radio show on TV, like Imus or Howard Stern, some of the other people do. So they had cameras. You would be talking, having a conversation. When George Harrison died, Beatles anniversary, a John Lennon anniversary. And for a radio person, it's really strange. I never liked all the neurotic stuff that goes with TV, like the makeup, and they got to spray stuff on something so it doesn't shine on the camera, and it's, get your earpiece, and I'm like, it doesn't fit, and the production assistant comes, jams it in my ear, 30 seconds, I'm like, we're back.
But reporters today, though, I mean, they're tasked with coming back with video and coming back with a story and editing
changed.
the story.
I mean,
if you're writing for Newsday, I mean, you're coming back with video.
I started doing a lot of that the last few years I was there. So you would record audio. You can take what they call palm cams. You can take a little handheld camera, put it on a tripod, and shoot the other person and mic them while you were asking the questions. Then you come back and cut it up, or you can do a narration, stand up and do a narration around. It was fun. The weirdest thing, though, was being in what was a radio studio with robotic cameras up above. Oh, wow. And you're talking, all of a sudden you hear...
We're watching you.
Yeah, that was like, what the... But it took a little getting used to, but it was all right. You adapt, and if they want you to do radio and TV, well, you do it. I mean, that's the thing here. We teach people to adapt to stuff. If it's something you've been doing or something you're comfortable with, then hey, you got to switch. If you were an audio guy, it's like a few of our alumni, you have to learn TV, you have to learn camera. I mean, you did a lot of that too. You made the switch.
PLJ, yeah. Did you ever interview John or Yoko?
No, I didn't. I was at a press conference where Yoko was there. I was at a press conference with McCartney. I did meet George Harrison.
No, cool.
That was cool, at a press reception. I was wearing he had a label called Dark Horse. I was wearing a little pin, the Dark Horse logo, and he goes and touches it ever so slightly. He goes, "Ooh, I like your pin," which was his logo. And I said, "Oh, thank you." Afterwards, all these jaded press people who were at this reception came up and started offering me money for that pin because George touched it.
Wow.
I mean, decades after Beatlemania, all these people, George touched that pin. How much do you want for it?
You still have that pin?
I certainly do. Wow. I certainly do.
I'll tell you a John and Yoko story. When I was at PLJ, it was a relatively small studio, probably no bigger than this, and we worked the same way across the audio console from the talent. And I've forgotten whose show this was, but it was in the evening. And the studio phone rings during a break, and I pick it up, and it was the security guard downstairs. And we referred to him as John the Nazi because John would screen everybody, including Leonard Goldenson's wife, who didn't have identification one day. And you don't stop the wife of the president of ABC. He did. Okay? And, where's your identification? So I pick up the phone, and it's the lobby calling. And I said, yeah. He said, there's a guy down here by the name of John Lemon and his wife, Coco.
Jeez.
And I go, okay, send Mr. Lemon and Coco up to the studio.
That's
what
funny.
a ditz. He had no idea who these people were.
Yeah.
And they came up to the studio. They were very, very lovely to work with. However, we had 2 mics in stereo, and they spent the next 40 minutes chanting in stereo.
Oh, boy.
And I'm sitting there going, I'm not sure whether or not I understand what this is all about, but that was my experience.
But it's John and Yoko, so let it go.
It was John Lemon and Coco. We couldn't believe this guy was so obtuse. He had no idea who these 2 people were.
Well, I remember coming up when you were running the board at PLJ. I would come up and sit on the floor. It's like, hey, Bill, can I come up? And I was there for Zachary. Right. And a few other
Carol Miller,
Howard Smith.
Sure.
The old Howard, not Howard
Dave
K.
Herman
Smith.
was there.
Yep.
Zachary.
Yep. Oh, I had such fun running the board for him on Halloween at NEW. I mean, Zach is just a gem. I'm glad he's still with us. And
I think he's about 93 or 94.
He's 90-something. I saw him about 2 years ago at an NEW reunion get-together, and he was very gracious. Didn't stay too long. He was a little fragile, but remembered everybody and shook hands and did photo ops. And
what an extraordinary guy.
Oh, he's amazing.
Yeah.
He's amazing. So, I mean, we've had a lot of encounters with all kinds of people who've come and gone, and it's great.
I ran into Jim Kerr a while back, and Jim actually came to WCWP one day and spoke to a class.
Really?
Yeah, and he still remembers that. And the first thing out of his mouth is the Volvo print ads that I did back in the early 80s.
Right.
He always remembers, he said, you still have a Volvo? I said, no, I don't have a Volvo anymore. But
And you had the 77 WABC plate.
plates. Yeah, I still have that.
You do really?
Well, my wife has it on her car, but
Oh,
and people wave at her thinking that somehow she's one of those people at WABC. But the transformation from the days that I was there to what they're doing now it's not even owned by ABC anymore. Who owns WABC? Citadel?
Citadel,
Yeah.
I think, yeah. Sounds right.
Yeah. What, the three companies that own 98% of all the radio stations.
I know.
Radio has really sucks these days. I mean, it's predictable.
Yeah.
Very little imagination, except perhaps on some of the college radio stations. And once in a while, you get a station that does some interesting things. I think public radio certainly fills a major void in balance to some of the stuff that you hear on the syndicated shows.
Yeah, and here we have a good time, especially the rock show on Wednesday, Thursday, and Friday nights. We do a lot of free form. What we're doing during homecoming weekend too. We're just playing some good stuff, some new stuff, some old stuff, things we'd like people to hear that they don't hear on other rock stations. So it's good. It's
well, in the PLJ days, I mean, we had, in fact, we were encouraged to take LPs home. They had so many LPs, and for every LP that came out, there were hundreds a week. They were just a fire hazard. And basically, we were encouraged by the music director, you want something there. They took 3 or 4 copies for the library, but everything else was just lining the halls. And so we were taking LPs home by the carload.
At NEW, everybody had a mailbox, and when the promo people would come in with the new releases, they'd give a couple to the music director and program director, and then they would put them all in.
Yeah.
Everybody had a big mailbox that was big enough to fit
hold
LPs, and you'd come in the next day and you see a stack of stuff, and okay, Columbia was here, Warner Brothers was here, and they would literally give all the people copies because back then you had some freedom where you could program this stuff. They wanted you to listen to it so you could get on and play it.
Wow. Let's remind folks that Bernie Bernard is on the air.
Yes.
And I'm Bill Moser, and Bernie's interviewing me, and I'm interviewing her, but we're having a good time. We're talking about, and somebody's
Absolutely.
giving me the finger, so does that mean to wrap it up?
No. Hey, it's my show. I can say when we wrap it up.
What you were saying about creativity in radio, that's the fun part. That's why I enjoy working on web radio.
Yeah, web
That's
radio
the
is
new
getting to be a
frontier
big
of
thing.
radio, really, like it used to be when you had creative control. You could do the music you want to do. You could be a personality. You could develop an idea, and you don't have anybody coming down your throat. Well, you got to play this record 15 times in an hour, and this one 20 times in an hour because we got to make profit. It's put the creativity back in it.
Yeah, I mean, the big corporations, as I say, they're like 3 companies that own 95% of the stations. They're only interested in explaining to the average person what the dynamic is of broadcasting. Broadcasting gathers an audience and sells it to an advertiser. And if you had polka music on the air 24 hours a day and there was a receptive advertiser, then the station would go in that direction. But it is so predictable. I mean, where are the personalities anymore? They're syndicated because they happen to be good, but local radio is pretty much automated.
Well, there's somebody in
daytime.
Cleveland programming stuff for everybody around the
Yeah,
country.
Mitch and Murray down in Reno,
Right,
Nevada,
exactly.
running the whole show, and clueless because all they're looking at is the numbers.
Right, that's
You can
it.
you can go knock on the door of a local radio station and there's nobody there. There's nobody there.
Drive cross country from city to city, which I've done, and hear the same format, the same playlist, the same voice, just different call it.
Well, I was
and a
lucky.
local weather forecast plugged in by remote.
I was
the only
lucky to
local
work at
broadcast.
BAB when it was a local station, and that was a riot. There was a woman who owned the station by the name of Muriel Hornstein. And when she had to sort of let go, I think it was when she had to let the news director go for that incident in the back seat in the parking lot with the 16-year-old. And she sat down with a big sigh, and she said, "Cookie, this isn't a radio station, it's a damn halfway house. So that was her.
Speaking of halfway houses, Bernie, remind the folks that they're listening to WCWP.
Oh, you can do that. That's okay. Oh no, what happened to my CD?
But
here?
but
Oh, my
Mike is
gosh.
he's very correct in the sense that radio, terrestrial radio is a dinosaur. I mean, what personalized radio listening or music listening certainly were the iPods, and so now you can, I mean, and things like what is that music service? Power something or other.
Pandora?
Pandora, yeah.
Pandora,
yeah.
Rhapsody, all that.
Yeah, where basically it uses algorithms. If you like this, then maybe you like that, and maybe if you like this, and it starts to assemble a profile of your tastes, and builds playlists or builds a radio station for you. That's an interesting process.
Yeah, definitely
But
is.
the fact that people can get on the internet and talk to folks all over the world is an amazing leap.
We have listeners in China. We have listeners.
Well,
in
today,
China.
I mean, I have some people who are listening in a few in Florida, some in California. My friend in Australia is listening.
Cool.
So it's cool. 12 or 14 hours ahead. 14 hours ahead, I think.
We have listeners in China.
I don't know if we do specific. They can listen if
Anybody's listening in China, give us a call.
You're right.
516.
299-2030.
The
country code.
Yeah. Yeah, we don't know the country
code. We got guys in Afghanistan.
Can we hear him?
No.
You can't. He's all
Mike,
right.
there's something new in radio called a microphone.
Yeah.
No, I'm just saying it amazes me. I'm on like two hours on Mondays doing top 40, like the old style top 40, and it's a lot of fun. The old Pam's jingles, the whole 9 yards, all kinds of craziness, and we get input from feedback from like all over the place. We get instantaneous feedback because we have a website and it has an instantaneous meter. It actually tells us who's listening at any given time.
Right.
We got hundreds of listeners all over Europe, Asia. God, Korea.
They don't understand a word you're saying in English.
But they listen to the music and they send us emails.
Right.
We get emails from all over the place.
Well,
It's
that's the
great.
thing. They love the music. And they learn it phonetically, too.
Yeah.
I mean, from dealing with international listeners. I mean, one of the cool things was when I was on the air at VOA, when the Berlin Wall was coming down and the old Soviet Union was breaking up, I mean, music was so important. We used to get emails and mail from people in Romania and the old Czechoslovakia, play this, play that, and people who could get arrested and thrown in jail for listening to VOA in Iran or in China at the time. I was like, wow. And that was so cool. I mean, that was a big responsibility. Wow. They really want to hear this stuff. And it's a testament to music being so international, a language everybody knows.
But I think radio goes a long way to undermining, these oppressive dictatorships because people, in a postage-sized little thingy can listen to stuff that otherwise, you had to have antennas on roofs and things, which are, even during the Second World War, radio made a major play in terms of entertaining the troops and armed forces, and
yeah, but music can inspire and it can reinforce what you're doing. All these people were probably scared to death about all the rebellion that was going on. Well, rock and roll's all about rebellion. So
and I think it puts you in a place where you have a sense of, of hope.
Mm-hmm, absolutely.
What was really amazing to me was when the Berlin Wall fell and all of that, the Czech Republic, the first president of the Czech Republic, Václav Havel, who was the guy that he recognized with an award from the Czech government? Frank Zappa. I'm serious. Frank Zappa. Because Zappa was talking, the people in the Czech Republic were listening to Zappa tapes. He was bigger in Europe, and especially behind the Iron Curtain. Guys were changing like 25 pairs of jeans for a Zappa tape and stuff like that. All this underground market was going on before the wall fell. And once it fell and they could do it openly, it was like, unbelievable, the recognition he got in Eastern Europe.
Yeah, the power of music and radio is just incredible.
Well, another aspect is where the music business, as I said, we receive literally hundreds of records a week. Are we rambling on here? Yes,
It's
we
okay.
are.
It's all right.
I'm having a good time. If
I
you're having
am
a good
too.
time.
I think people kind of dig what we're
a
talking
friend of
about.
ours, B.J. Burtis, her husband, was a record producer for many years for Sony Records, and that whole business of recording studios is virtually dried up. There are big studios in Nashville, but now with very affordable, I could record a band right here on this MacBook in front of me.
Done it.
And the
Done it.
very simple and inexpensive preamps that can be plugged into this thing. And it's just astonishing what people are doing on a small scale for a few $1,000s that would have cost $10,000 of studio time.
You can do that with radio too. You can prepare shows. I mean, all you need is a computer and a good
A
mic
microphone
that's it.
and a Behringer mixer for $50 or $60,
you're
and you
good to
can
go.
get yourself in here.
That's what I'm using. That's what I do on the air. I use an iMac, 27-inch iMac flat screen, and 6 terabytes of drive, and music library, and an interface, a USB interface for my mics.
But it's good. I like the new technology. I
Great.
like that it's more flexible, that we don't have to chew up our fingers with grease pencils and
And
razor
razor
blades
blades.
editing tape anymore. I think it's great. It's so much more fun. You can be more creative with it.
What's really good about radio today, or whatever you want to call radio, is the it's on demand. And in the days of broadcasting, you had to listen to somebody at a particular time on a particular radio station. And then when some of the better talent was syndicated across the country, but it still forced you at a specific time. I find it very interesting that the network evening newscast still survive, because that's a throwback to coming home from work, at Grumman, and sitting down and watching the Walter Cronkites and those folks that were on the networks for your evening news. And then when Ted Turner came on the scene and said, I'm going to put a 24-hour, 7-day-a-week news network on the air, the networks laughed at him. They said, you're not going to be able to fill the time. Well, look at the success of the Fox News Channel, CNN, and MSNBC. So now, if I want weather or traffic, I can, basically bring it up on my iTouch or my smartphone, and I can watch TV on my smartphone if I want. So, but that's on demand, and radio being on demand gives me the opportunity to listen to stuff when I'm in the mood or I need the information, rather than I got to wait for something to happen.
That's not only music, that's also sports, because when I'm
Yeah, it's
stuck in West
everything.
Virginia and I can't get the Jets home games, I pump up my tune app on my phone and punch into the New York feed for the football games.
Well, at this point, I don't know if we really need the Jet home games the way they're playing right now.
The Giants, too. I love it. But
I bought a
masochist, what can I tell you?
I bought a thing that was just a little over $100 on Amazon. It's a Grace Internet radio. It looks like a nice little table radio. And literally, tens of thousands of radio stations on the world can be dialed up on this thing. Cool. It's just amazing. And I can listen to air traffic controllers on certain channels and police departments, and be entertained in categories that you would have never thought of before possible. So, yeah, we're living in the future.
Yeah, it's good though. I
Yep.
like it. I'm
Okay.
happy. I'm comfortable. Thank
Wow,
you.
we had one hell of a conversation here, Bernie.
But it's great. How often do we get to do that?
So it's all about that book right there.
Yeah, the Handbook of Broadcasting. This is Studley Hunwell. We'll see you next week at the same time on the same station. Stay tuned. People still use that term. I hate it when I hear it, stay tuned, because I have this vision of, an old, radio dials heterodyning and making, whistling noises. Stay tuned.
It's like when I bought an old radio home, and my wife said to me, well, what do you want that old radio? I said, so I can listen to the old programs. And it took her about 15 minutes to digest that. And then she came back, what did you say?
Try explaining to a kid, try explaining to my grandson what a turntable is.
Right. Yeah,
That
it's
was a
nuts.
trip.
It's-
Try to
here's-
get him to understand what a turntable really is.
Here's one more story. I was out running one day, one of my running days, and I ran by an antique store down in my town, and I saw this Hammerlin radio that was outside on the sidewalk, and it flipped me out. I go, wow, that's in perfect condition. So I went in and I said to the woman, "What about that radio out there?" She said, "Well, I'm afraid to plug it in. I think it might burn the place down." And I said, "Well, what are you asking for?" She said, "Well, $49. And I said, "Okay, that sounds pretty reasonable considering its condition." So I said, "I don't have any money with me. I'm out running." But I went back, and she said, "Look, I tell you what. Why don't you take the radio? If it works, you can pay me. And all I want is $25 for this thing because it's been sitting around for a long time." Okay, so I said, "All right, fair enough." So they gave her $25. I said, "Even if it doesn't work, I'll keep the $25 because now this was half price." So I brought it in, put it on the kitchen table, plugged it in, turned it on, and nothing. And I said, okay,
I know
now
why.
I'm going to have to get to work on this thing. And I walked away from it, and all of a sudden it came on. Duh, tubes.
Got to warm up.
In those days, you had to wait for the TV to come on or the radio, tubes. And I just laughed because it's like I'm so accustomed to instant everything that, so.
Well, thanks and congratulations
Thank you.
for your induction into the Hall of Fame. We'll have a ceremony in April.
Okay.
And it's been fun. And, you know, after all these years, I think people who have come and gone out of this place know
I'm
that.
going to wear my tiara and
Oh,
my.
good.
Yeah.
I love it. I love it. And we
Alan
all know.
wears heels.
We all know that you don't
wear his own heels.
either way, you don't mess with Bill.
Gonna play Wedding Bell Blues.
I thought about that. I thought this would be better.
That's what you're gonna play.
Well, that was a fun 27-minute conversation.
It was fun. Time flies when you're having fun.
Yes.
Okay, I just need to plug in.
Your sister's stealing half my clicks.
88.1 FM, WCWP.org. That's Murray Head and One Night in Bangkok from Chess. That was a Broadway play. And they did a film with that? I can't remember if they did a film with it.
But it was written
It was
by
a
guys from ABBA.
Lloyd, that's right.
Two guys
It
from
was
ABBA.
sort of a Lloyd Webber
Bjorn and
thing, but
Benny.
it was the guys from
Bjorn and
ABBA.
Benny was that.
Bjorn and Benny, yeah. Right before Murray Head, we heard from ABC, getting a little 80s here that I do every once in a while. Got to have my 80s once in a while. And The Look of Love. Bernie, it has been a blast. Just wanted to mention that here at Homecoming Weekend, a lot of people are going over to the Barefoot Peddler at Northern Boulevard and Glen Cove Road. There's an after-hours party or an after-the-festivities party that goes on there. So any alumni from LIU Post, if you want to keep partying, if you've been to the beer tent a few times, you want to keep rolling, they kind of wrapped all that up. And you can go over to the Barefoot Peddler and keep the party going. It's been a blast. I'm going to be on again November 1st for the rock show. They kind of let me on here every few weeks. We got some great, Mike's going to tell you about the folks coming up later, but I don't want to infringe on any of his time. So I guess we should start to run the credits here. So thank you very much to, first of all, Dan Cox, the station director. It is through Dan's good graces that we get to do this every year. So thank you very much, Dan. And thanks to Bill Moser for stopping by. Thanks for the WCWP Alumni Association. All the hard work for Alan and Pete and all the people who worked on this edition of Homecoming. We're celebrating 51 years now. We will be celebrating 50 years in this building next year. So it'll be the station's 52nd, but we'll be celebrating 50 years in this actual location. To all the people who stopped by, thank you so much. It is always a blast. Mike Hendricks is coming up next. He'll rock you through for the next couple hours, and he'll let you know who else is going to be on over the next day or so. But it's great to see old friends here at Homecoming Weekend, and I am very happy and proud to be part of the legacy of this place where we're turning out some future broadcasters.
Congratulations, by the way.
Oh, thank you. And to, it continues. After 51 years, we're still doing well. We've got a lot of people to be proud of who've come out of this place, and a lot of people looking to the future who are going to go out there and do some great things in the business. So thank you all. And I will leave you with a wonderful theme. This is Mark Knopfler of Dire Straits. He did the ending for a wonderful movie called Local Hero, all about Scotland. So I'll leave you with that for a few. Mike Hendricks coming up next here on WCWP Brookville. It's been a blast. I need the beer tent. Thanks to all. Bye-bye.